guys, welcome to Office Blokes React. I'm Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
I'm Office Bloke Daz.
Collectively in a room, all mashed together, we make the Office Blokes.
Yep.
True.
There you go, it is a thing.
It's a Monday.
It's a Monday, we're all tired. There's been a couple of beers at lunchtime.
Flagging.
Been to the pub at lunch.
Yeah, it's a hard life, it really is. Right, Office Bloke Daz has informed me a few times that you're not allowed to say Whataburger.
It's not Whataburger.
You've got to say Whataburger.
Whataburger.
You've got to put the D in there.
Yeah,
Whataburger.
It's a silent T with a hidden D.
Yeah.
Apparently.
It doesn't seem right, does it, if you said Whataburger?
Whataburger.
You sound right knobhead, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That's probably why it's not come over to England yet, isn't it? Because it would ruin the whole
Whataburger.
Fancy a Whataburger?
Yeah, wouldn't work, would it?
No.
All of a sudden we go, what? A burger?
Anyway,
We'll get everything wrong, won't we?
Yeah, it's fine. No, we're going to do a bit of company, man.
Top channel.
The rise and fall,
Yeah.
the rise and fall and rise again of Whataburger.
Whataburger.
All I know is the ketchup.
WADDA. Whataburger.
Yeah.
Whata. All I know is the ketchup because Beverly sent us out a load in a care package.
Yeah. It's mint, isn't it?
Oh god, yeah, it's the best ketchup
I
ever.
agree. I agree. I think I agree.
Yeah, it really is.
Nothing comes close, does it?
Yeah.
Here's one for you. Do you know HP?
Yeah,
Right.
Hewlett
sauce.
Packard, that make
Yeah.
printers.
No, do you know the sauce? HP sauce.
Yeah.
Do you know what HP stands for?
Hewlett
Houses of
Packard.
Parliament.
He's right.
It's got the Houses of Parliament on the logo.
That's what it
hasn't
stands
It
for.
has. Yeah.
I probably would have guessed that, but I didn't know it.
Weird.
I thought it was Harry Potter's special sauce.
Mm.
No. Anyway,
like it.
right then, Whataburger, the rise and fall and rise again. Let's do it.
Whataburger. Now there is a catchy name. It's almost like they're complimenting themselves, but squished together into one word. You don't see that often. The idea being that their food is so tasty that as soon as you bite down into it, you'll want to exclaim, Whataburger. Though, I would imagine that most of the people watching this aren't incredibly familiar with them. See, they are a large, successful chain of fast food restaurants, but they haven't been too aggressive in expanding geographically. I think this is interesting. As of 2020, they have around 850 locations that amazingly combine for estimated system-wide sales of $2.7 billion a year. Let me break that down a little bit by telling you that by number of locations, they rank as the 36th largest fast food restaurant in the US, but by system-wide sales, they rank as the 22nd largest. That is a big difference, meaning they are outselling many others on the list with fewer locations. Hardee's, for example, has more than twice as many restaurants, but lower sales.
Charbroiled thick burgers.
Have you never had a Hardee's?
No.
They're all right. Not as good as Whataburger, but they're all right. Hardee's.
Is Whataburger Texas mainly?
Whataburger.
Is Whataburger mainly
I
Texas?
think it's Texas and like California, maybe. Like that area, maybe Texas, Oklahoma,
right?
sort of area.
Right.
I'm not sure where they branched out to, but there's definitely loads in Texas.
Big numbers there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Turnover and the profits and stuff.
2.7 billion was it? Did you say?
Yeah.
Billion.
Wow.
In fact, when looking at average sales per restaurant, Whataburger is in third place, behind only Chick-fil-A and Raising Cane's. Both
Never
of
heard of
those are
Raising Cane's.
categorized as chicken
No.
restaurants, meaning on a per-unit basis, Whataburger is more successful than any other hamburger chain in the country,
Wow.
which is partially because they haven't been too aggressive in expanding geographically. Those 850 locations only span across 14 states, all of which are in the South, and about 700 of them are in Texas. They have stayed close to their strongest market, developing a comparatively smaller but more loyal fan base. There is reason to believe that they will soon be attempting a big push outside of their comfort zone. I will talk more about it, but as of right now, Whataburger is like a big deal in Texas and maybe a few other southern states to a lesser extent, but not really anywhere else. So for this video, I want to focus on how that came to be the case, while talking about some of the bigger successes and struggles over the years. Whataburger has always been a private company that has typically been owned and operated by the Dobson family, starting with Harmon Dobson, who I would consider to be an impressive person. Even before the creation of Whataburger, he had experienced a diverse career that included farming, sales, aviation, and various international building and construction projects. In 1950, when he was in his late 30s, he teamed up with a man named Paul Burton to open up a small hamburger stand. It was portable, but they strategically placed it in Corpus Christi, Texas, right across the street from Del Mar College. Despite that busy location, sales started out slow. It took a few
That to 2.7 billion.
No,
Is that not
Way
an
to start.
inspiration story?
Wow.
A
Mad
little
that.
shack,
Yep.
and then that's where you go.
Well, got to start
35
somewhere, I
cents
suppose,
for a
but-
burger.
Yeah.
I'm not hungry at all because we ate at the pub, but I could eat a burger.
Wow, how many
Well,
hairs did you
obviously,
eat in yours?
I picked them all out. There was a bit of a hair problem.
Was
today.
it? Oh.
Yeah,
It was on
yeah.
the table when we walked in.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
it's
Someone's
thinking that,
been,
put your eye off.
Someone's been molting. Sophie was. This is a sidetrack, but Sophie was eating, and then she spotted one hair and did not take another bite.
Really?
She was just like, no, can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm just like that.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I
I
just
feel
felt
sick, that.
Bit of fibre in your
gag
diet.
I'm this close.
Yeah. Right,
Delmar
guys.
College. Despite that busy location, sales started out slow. It took a few days for word to spread about them. It was actually
Fuck's that on the floor? Looks like a proper rich dog's been there, right?
It does a bit.
What is it? It's like a Dalek's taking a shit.
Looking at it going, me?
It's like the prototype Dalek on the right there.
Yeah.
actually the fourth day that they considered to be their big break. They sold 551 hamburgers, making them almost as much money in that one day as the previous 3 combined. They accomplished quite a bit in that first week, but they obviously still had a long way to go. So I've put together a list of how Whataburger grew from that point into one of the most successful chains in the country. And a big part of it has been their menus, specifically the Whataburger itself. Considered to be a classic, and back in 1950, it was difficult to find anything else like it. First off, it was made to order, always using fresh vegetables and cooking the meat just before it was served to the customers, but what truly made it unique was the size of it. Dobson envisioned a burger that would be so big it would take 2 hands to hold it. To try to turn that vision into a reality, he contacted a local bakery and requested a special order of these large 5-inch hamburger buns, but the idea was so unheard of that the bakery couldn't find big enough pans to make them. Ultimately, Dobson had to partner up with that bakery to develop those pans. And clearly, larger hamburgers became far more popular in the years that followed. Even later in that decade, the idea for Burger King's famous Whopper came from witnessing the demand for large hamburgers sold by a different restaurant. My point is that Whataburger became involved very early in what became a popular trend. Another reason behind their success would be their marketing. Harmon Dobson was a pilot, and that helped inspire some unique ideas concerning how to promote his restaurant. The most direct one would be that he would attach a banner with the name of the restaurant to the back of his plane and go up in the sky, attracting attention by making a bunch of noise and dropping coupons down onto the public. But there were also more subtle ways. In fact, you may not.
Was that a thing pre-then? You know, that sort of
Don't know.
advertising.
Yeah, I don't know.
What you mean? You think he might have been one of the sort of like
Pioneers.
forerunners of that, a pioneer of it?
Yeah, I'm just
Well,
wondering
someone's
how
got-
far back it goes.
Someone's got to do it first, I suppose, haven't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great idea, though, isn't it?
It really is a great idea.
I still can't believe that they're sort of so concentrated down in the south there. Find it incredible that they've not sort of like expanded already throughout the country.
Well, the slogan for Texas is everything's bigger in Texas, isn't it? So if you think about these, that's the home of the bigger burger
Yeah.
that everyone else is.
But assuming everyone else in the States knows what a burger. Is it still known everywhere?
I assume people would know. I
You knew, didn't you?
I lived down that area. So
Yeah.
Right, okay, oh, yeah, of course.
I used to frequent. Obviously, they don't get physique like it's not frequent in places like Whataburger. You know what I mean?
The thing
I'm a
is,
big burger connoisseur.
they've got so many options for good fast food places, though,
Yeah.
haven't they? That like, why would someone in like I don't know Maine have heard of it if there isn't one within?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe they've probably got
500
somewhere
miles
like
or-
Maine or Massachusetts, things like that. Maybe they've got their own version.
Yeah, that's
I
what.
don't know
yeah,
what
yeah.
it may be.
Yeah.
You know.
may not even realize that Whataburger has adopted somewhat of an aviation-inspired theme. In the 1960s, they started using their now famous orange and white stripes that were used to decorate their A-frame buildings. Dobson liked the idea of airplanes being able to see the restaurants, so he used the same colors and shapes that are
Windsock.
commonly used
Yeah.
at airports. Even the logo is referred to as the Flying W. So I suppose if they designed everything to be visible even from the sky, it must be effective in capturing the attention of the cars driving by. Another reason they grew is their pricing, which actually turned out to be a major dispute between the two founders. When that first Whataburger opened in 1950, the cost of one of their burgers was 25 cents, cheap enough to buy with only 1 coin. But early on, Dobson wanted to raise that price to 30 cents, whereas Burton felt that the customers wouldn't respond as well at that higher price point. They both felt so strongly that they ultimately split up over the argument. They made a deal where Harmon Dobson would take full control of the company while Paul Burton would would get the franchising rights to open new Whataburgers around San Antonio. And that was the arrangement that they both followed for the rest of their lives. Once Dobson had full control, he did raise the price, but again, going back to the clever marketing, he put out a sign that said, "Folks, we priced our burgers too low and we lost our shirts. Sorry, but we gotta raise the price to 30 cents.
So after that whole argument and the split, he went and did it anyway.
Yeah.
I know, yeah. Bizarre.
No, it's a savvy guy. That's what it is.
I'm not sure because he let the other guy have the franchising.
To San Antonio.
Yeah.
And look how many there are and how vast they are.
Oh, what do you get after that though? San Antonio, then it goes into Oklahoma, Louisiana, maybe Alabama.
But he's only got the franchise rights for San Antonio.
At this point.
That was a good point about it being able to get a burger with one coin, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really, really good marketing
Do that now.
tool. Yeah.
You
Not
can.
coin, no, it's a note.
Oh,
£5.
£2 coin.
Yeah.
£2 coin. You can, thinking about it. Because the pound saver menu at McDonald's used to be 99p for everything, didn't it? But yeah, we've got a £2 coin.
Yeah.
So you can get
A
it.
£5 note, £10 note.
Yeah.
Still get it with one note.
It's a funny but relatable explanation, so the customer seemed to be willing to pay that extra 5 cents, and then he even raised it another 5 cents shortly after, with a similar response from the public. And I also want to mention their new locations and franchising as a reason, going back to opening that first one across from the college, having one of their co-founders turn into a major franchisee, and overall being slow and strategic when spreading their reach. They operated for 2 years before they opened a restaurant outside of Corpus Christi. It was almost 10 years before they opened one outside of Texas, which was in Florida, and by the 1980s they had over 300 locations that were still only found in 5 states. And it was in the 1980s when Whataburger started having some serious trouble. Despite continuing to open new restaurants, their overall sales went down every year from 1988 to 1993, and I have a few explanations as to why that happened. Many of them were typical. The restaurants weren't being maintained in the way that they should have. They needed repairs and updates. There was some tension between the company and the people operating the restaurants, leading to discouraged and unmotivated employees and therefore poor customer experiences. The franchisees were even threatening a lawsuit concerning their portion of rebates coming from the vendors that they felt they were owed. But one of the issues that stands out would be the changes to the menu itself. The famous Whataburger that helped make them so popular in the first place was being somewhat neglected. They were introducing all of these new menu items, various soups and salads and other stuff, using their advertising money to promote them and not seeing good results from it.
You don't go to a burger place for a salad.
You don't go to a burger place with just one burger on a bun.
No.
You've got to get at least 2.
You do have to diversify. Well, you always have to get your meal and then your side burger.
Yeah,
don't
where
you?
you're waiting.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just a fact of life.
Side burger.
Yeah, you obviously-
100%.
do you not have a side burger?
No.
Wow.
Mate, you know what he's like when he's ordering. I could order for him now. I know exactly what he'd have.
I know what you'd have though.
You wouldn't.
Big Mac.
McDonald's,
Yeah. For McDonald's, what would I have?
regular Big Mac meal with a Coke.
No,
And
wrong already.
a
I have
dou-
large.
Large.
All right, large, and then a double cheeseburger on the side.
Single cheeseburger. Maybe 2.
Splitting hairs there a little bit.
Well, you got it wrong, didn't you?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Whataburger wasn't receiving much attention, so their sales were falling. Another concern at the time was the leadership. In 1967, Harmon Dobson actually died in a plane crash, forcing his wife to take control of things for a few years before someone outside of the family named Jim Peterson took over in the 1970s. He stayed in that position for the next 20 years, and by the 1990s, when everything was crumbling, there was heavy criticism that Harmon's son, Tom Dobson, should replace him, which is exactly what happened, and probably
That definitely looks like a business card for a real estate agent, doesn't it?
It does,
Yeah.
doesn't it, really?
Tom Dobson,
Yeah.
sell your home. 1-800 real estate.
Please use me because my wife divorced me and took everything. I need the business.
Either that or he's running for president.
Yeah, one of the two.
the biggest reason behind their turnaround. He addressed the issues with the managers by holding meetings with them and listening to their ideas of how to improve things. He addressed the issues with the franchisees by keeping more open communication with them and by settling all of their lawsuits within the year. He invested money in repairing and renovating many of the restaurants and even increased their advertising budget to make commercials that once again centered around their famous hamburgers. In short, he identified many of the ways that they had drifted away from his father's initial principles that had fueled their early success and found ways to bring them back. Sales started moving back in the right direction within his first year in charge and have overall continued in that same direction ever since. Today, they are about 8 times higher than they were at their low point in the 1990s. Some other notable things that have happened with Whataburger over that time were in 1999, they celebrated their upcoming 50th anniversary by building their biggest restaurant appropriately in Corpus Christi, Texas, where it all started. It was over 6,000 square feet across 2 stories that included
pretty
a
impressive,
statue
isn't
of
it?
Harmon Dobson to honor their founder. In 2008, they announced that they would relocate their headquarters from Corpus Christi to the much larger city of San Antonio, giving the reasons that the new location offered easier travel to other states, a more skilled technology workforce, and protection against hurricanes. In 2012, Tom Dobson stepped down from his CEO position but remained chairman of the board. Then in 2013, they entered the retail
is.
market for the
Yeah.
first time by bottling their condiments and selling them exclusively.
Whoa.
Right idea.
Spicy jalapeno ranch. Whoa. Be all over that, mate.
Hands
I'd be
above
all
the
over
table.
that.
Hands
I'd be
above.
all over that. I love ranch dressing anyway, but I'd be
Yeah.
all over that, yeah.
Look at that honey barbecue, mate.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm just making you hungry now, innit? It's even worse.
Got to be jalapeno ranch there.
Yeah.
at H-E-B stores, which appropriately is another Texas-centered company. And finally, potentially the most impactful change ever to happen to them occurred in 2019. That year, the Dobson family sold the majority of Whataburger to a private equity firm called BDT Capital Partners, though they did maintain a minority interest. So even though there's still heavy family involvement as far as operation and ownership, they are not at the center of it anymore. They say that the main reason behind that transaction is expansion. At the time, Tom Dobson said they have a track record of success with businesses as special as ours that want to grow while preserving culture and family history. And in 2022, the company said that they are entering the largest growth phase in its 70-plus year history. And to complicate things a little bit, BDT Capital Partners is actually based in Chicago, which is kind of odd. There has been some backlash concerning the fact that this classic Texas brand is now technically based in a northern state where there are no Whataburgers. But ever since that deal, they've been working to expand into Missouri, Kansas, Colorado, Tennessee, basically making their way further up north, meaning it's potentially an exciting time for the company, and an exciting time for anyone in the northern part of the country that would like to have a Whataburger somewhere around them. So for those people watching this that are mostly unfamiliar with the brand, besides what you heard in this video of course, give it a little time because they might finally be making their way near you. Let me know in the comments, have you ever been to Whataburger? If you haven't been, are you interested in checking it out? And if you have been, where was it? And what do you think of it? What's your favorite thing to get on the menu when you go there? And do you think it's good enough to build a presence outside of their existing markets? And any other thoughts you have about Whataburger, leave them in the comments. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Whataburger!
£1.50. What about £1.50? That's what I thought.
I want one. I really, really
We
want
should
one.
watch these food videos.
You don't know what you're
Honestly,
missing.
Every time.
You do not know what you're missing with
Is
Whataburger.
what's the actual beef patty like? It looked a bit McDonald's-ish when they showed one of the pictures.
Mate, it's years since I've had one, but I remember it being Burger King-ish, sort of like more.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The fries look nice.
Yeah.
Looks that little bit bigger than the McDonald's ones. It looks a bit crispier.
It looks without a doubt better than McDonald's.
I've told the story loads about the homeless guy sent to go and get us a burger, and that's what he brought back was a Whataburger.
Was it?
And it was like just when it's like 2 a.m. or whatever, and you sat there and you're thinking I need something to eat, and he brings back a Whataburger.
Yeah.
I'm like, lad.
But it's one of the best
Yeah.
meals ever, that wasn't
Yeah,
it? Just
yeah,
when you really
yeah,
fancy it, you thought
yeah.
unobtainable.
Very expensive.
Yeah.
Cost me $100. You know?
No, at least you got it though, didn't you?
Yeah, at least he was happy and I was happy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
win-win.
Both two
It's
happy
all
guys
that.
together. You know what I mean?
Win-win.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, that there's other sauces there that we need.
Yeah. We need
Definitely.
what we need is a
Jalapeno.
British burger chain. What have we got? Nothing.
No, we don't have
Nothing.
anything.
Absolute
We've
joke.
got-
We've obviously
We've got Five Guys. Do you
Is
mean?
that-
Do you
Is that
mean?
British though?
Oh no! Do
No,
you
no,
mean?
you mean
Like a
our
British
own
chain. Yeah.
version?
I
It was
can't-
shit though, wasn't it?
I know. I mean, I
No,
think-
you know what we've got.
Stale bread.
No, you know what we've got.
I know you're going to say Wimpy.
No, Archie's.
Is Archie's British?
I think so. Yeah.
Is it? I
Yeah,
don't even know.
We'd have stale bread. You not heard of Archie's?
No,
That's
I
good,
don't think so.
Archie's.
The first one I think was on Oxford Road. I think that was the
Yeah.
first one, and then it's
I have
expanded
Archie's.
from
I have
there.
Archie's quite a lot. It's
Ah,
good.
right, okay.
Yeah.
They're good, yeah.
I think the story is something like, because obviously it's close to the Ritz, and I think I want to say someone like Drake was on tour playing the Ritz,
Right.
and apparently went there, had a burger, and then invested in it and helped it.
Right.
It may not be Drake, but it was someone big.
Yeah, there's one right around
Allegedly.
the corner from me.
They're
Right.
everywhere.
Yeah,
They're
right.
absolutely
That's
everywhere.
Oxford Road, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, so
Near the
I
Ritz, I suppose.
I think that's a British one, but maybe I'm wrong and it's come over from the States and there was just one.
We'll have to Google that in a bit then,
there. Yeah.
see if there is. But it's just absolute joke that we might have that one, but it's just nothing, is there?
No, but you can't. How are you going to compete with your McDonald's, Burger King?
Oh, true,
Something?
yeah.
It's
Wendy's
almost
are coming,
impossible, isn't
Wendy's
it?
are coming into town now.
Yeah.
You got Archie's, you got Five Guys.
I don't think you've got the pride that you will have there. Like that's
Canada Grill.
That's Texan. You know, it obviously started in Texas and people are proud and it's their thing.
Mate, it's one of the best burgers. One of the best fast food burgers you'll have. Whataburger for me.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I don't think people are they give that much of a shit over here. Whether it's like you build this brand that's Mancunian burgers or whatever.
yeah.
I don't think people care.
Yeah.
No, people over
probably
there
not.
go for price.
Yeah.
More than anything.
No, it's a big thing, yeah,
Yeah.
of course it is, yeah, because it's quick and cheap, isn't it?
So if
Normally.
you could get McDonald's, let's say for instance you get a Big Mac for say £6 or whatever it is. I don't even know how much Big Mac is now. Let's say £6.
The meal's about £6.
Yeah, so it's going to be £6.
Yeah.
Or would you pay £10 for a Whataburger?
Well,
Most people go £6 for the McDonald's.
I actually.
It might start well because of a trend and
Yeah.
like, everyone wants to try it.
Was it Five Guys a bit like that? That's
Yeah.
that bit more expensive.
Yeah, I always find
Yeah.
that Five Guys when they deliver to me, it's a little bit too far, and
Yeah.
when they deliver it, burgers come a little bit soggy.
Yeah.
The first time I saw Five Guys in the Trafford Centre, I went up and queued up and then looked at the prices and I went, nah. And this was years ago. And I was like, I'm not paying that. I'll go to McDonald's and I'll get all that, spend £8 or something and have an absolute
Yeah.
feast. And I think Five Guys, it was maybe 12, 13 quid.
Was it?
Yeah, but now I'd rather pay that a bit extra and have the much better meal.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
it is. I'd rather what I eat be really tasty. At the
Yeah,
end of the
I
day.
agree.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
Whataburger
true.
is fantastic.
Yeah,
That's a great story, that as well.
Yeah, nice one.
Like you say,
Yeah.
certainly when you're driving down the streets in Texas, first thing you see
Just
Whataburger
everywhere.
all over. You just spot them everywhere because they're orange and white.
yeah.
Spot it a mile away.
The branding's
You know?
good.
Yeah,
I was going to say the branding, the colour, the W. Yeah, it looks really good, I think.
Spot it a mile away.
Yeah.
Every time I go past, I go Whataburger. Like a guy.
Just like
Is it? Yeah.
Nice.
It's good that, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that too. Don't forget like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers,
Cheers.
guys.